Dave's running for Congress in Arizona. That's his 9th district, Maricopa County. He's a Republican. That seat held now by Greg Stoughton, who got 61% of the vote in 2018. So it's a tough district to win. Dave, great to have you, man.
Hello, John. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Dave, you're an economics engineer. You're a business consultant. You've got a lot of experience on an international scene and power and technology. But here's the reality. You're running in a district that you're the incumbent, just won, Metro Phoenix there, just won with 61% of the vote in 2018. So the first question is, that's a big margin. He won by 22 points. How do you make this district competitive?
Well, we would start by continuing with business opportunities, jobs, the economy, keep the economy growing, and being conservative, responsible, and accountable. The candidate the guy that's in there now is a Democrat who wants to support larger government, larger control, increase your taxes, and he's not really representing the people of Arizona. We are a free people. We want to, improve ourselves as best we can. We work hard. We're educated people, and we can grow and make the state even better. I was running against Kirsten Sinema in 2016, and I got over 100,000 votes against her. The margin was far less than that. This last time when I ran in the primary against Steve Farrar, he beat me by a few points in the primary, but before the primary, I was 3 points ahead of the previous Mayor Stanton, who was very biased about, selecting which companies are going to benefit in the area, in the city. He spends money on light rail that, leaves our children, grandchildren in great debt. He's all for, single bathrooms. He kicked prayer out of the city meetings. The list goes on of many things outside there. But I was 3 points ahead of Mayor Stanton in the primary. And after my opponent won the primary, he became 7 points behind Mayor Stanton. So I can beat Stanton. I would have beat him had I won the primary, which is where my focus was. I want to represent the people of Arizona.
Yeah, but Farrar lost by 22%. That's a big.
I would not have
number.
lost by that much. No.
Right. So is this the district that Kristen Sinema represented before she ran for Senate?
That's correct. I ran against her in 2016.
What percent did you get in 2016?
I don't remember the exact percentage on it. It was over 100,000 votes, and she got about 130.
All right, so 230. So okay, 30,000 votes is a big number, but you got 100,000 votes in 2016. We just had these two shootings in El Paso and Dayton, and I've been calling all day for the Republicans to do something. I don't think you can sit around and go back into your rabbit hole and talk about Zoloft and Prozac. I just don't think it's going to work. I'm a realist. You're from Arizona. Both of us, I'm sure, own lots of guns, all that good stuff. We're all for the Second Amendment. But what is wrong with the president coming out today and calling for an extended background check for rifles with automatic AR-15s, extended background check, and maybe to include a social media screening? Tell me what is the matter with that? Why would that be wrong?
Well, it's not going to stop the problem. First off, there's no place like our president says, President Trump, there's no place for hate in our country. And it's very sad, and my heart goes out to all of the families and people who've been harmed and hurt by this shooting. I'm sorry it happens. But we got to deal with the problem more directly. This is a problem with the person. I don't know if Prozac gets involved in this at all. But we got to start bringing God and country back into our school system, educate our people, train our people. We need to encourage people that the police officers that were there in less than a minute is admirable. But the bottom line is, you got to be responsible for your own personal safety. And I would encourage everybody to learn and be familiar and competent in using a firearm and defend yourself. Had more people had personal firearms in either of these shootings, less people would have been hurt.
Well, the one guy that had one in Walmart said he pulled it out. He almost got his head blown out by the cops who mistake him for the shooter. This is the issue, Dave. These are the things that we've been saying for a long time. Arm yourself, get a gun. Here's a guy in Walmart said, I pulled it out. I was 1 second from getting shot by the cops who thought I was a shooter. It's just not as easy as that when you're in a public place like a Walmart, right? So my question is, we can sit there and say it's mental health, it's no fathers in the households, it's video games, it's a combination of all kinds of things. But my fear is if the president doesn't suggest to do something that might help a little bit, you're going to lose suburban voters. You're going to lose suburban women who look at this and say, you know what, there's an awful lot of these shootings and it's getting way too close to home for me, and I want action. And this is just a political reality. So why not, I don't see why anyone who is for the Second Amendment and for a gun owner would say, yes, an extended background check for a semi-automatic weapon that includes scouring your social media. Who would be opposed to that? And why is that bad?
I don't think anybody would be opposed to it if
you would be in favor of that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Would you be in favor of that?
Yeah, we can do extended background check as long as you don't want to infringe too much on the Second Amendment right. And look a little deeper on this stuff. But right now, we already have a background check for people who are buying a gun. When I transfer a gun here, I go to the ATF and do the background check on the person, and it comes back, deny or proceed. Most times they proceed. One thing you can do is when you get your concealed weapons permit, encourage people to get a concealed weapons permit and have the extended background check done in the process of getting your concealed weapons permit by the Department of Public Safety.
Mm-hmm.
They can be done you can do it in there, if you want to, have extended background checks, but then you decide what weapons are going to be the weapons you want to use to have this background check put on.
Mm-hmm.
And it just expands government a little bit more. And
all right, tell me your big issue that when you're debating, assuming you get the nomination again, when you're debating Craig Stanton, the incumbent, what's going to be your big issue?
Jobs in the economy. We're looking for the economy and we're looking for safety. Mr. Stanton, votes right down the Democrat line. He wants to increase our taxes. He wants to increase the laws and restrictions on businesses. He wants to tax our businesses. And if you follow his path, he's going to continue right on. If he has his way, he will continue right on down to putting us in the problem we had before when the businesses are taxed so high they leave the country and they leave people with unemployment, and we tax the people more and have less money in their pocket. The jobs in the economy are the things that we can run on against Mayor Stanton because he's in favor of big government. He's in favor of more taxes. And he's part of the old boy club that, he decides what businesses in Phoenix can prosper, like the hotel. And he'll spend money on light rail that costs, millions and millions of dollars for our generations to come. When, buses would have worked just fine. He's kicked prayer out of the meetings, government meetings. He likes the same-sex bathrooms. Our people in our country are pretty conservative. And, having an old guy go into a bathroom with a little girl is just ridiculous. You don't need to do that. We don't need to be there. And he'll follow the Democrat line right down. I'm pro-life. I am very pro-life, and I'm pro-Second Amendment. And individuality and responsibility belongs with the individual. We don't need big government, telling us what this. That's one thing. And safety and security, we got to build a wall, and it's coming along pretty good. I was in favor of building the wall. We got to protect, the American people, and not just the Arizonans, but all the American people from, drugs coming across the border, trafficking coming across the border, human trafficking coming across the border,
mm-hmm.
and not to mention terrorists coming across, because
mm-hmm.
they are coming across, and they have crossed.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent over 20 years working in the Middle East, so I kind of understand, some of the value systems that these people have. And no matter how much politically correct you want to get, they have a doctrine that is going to of hatred, and there's no place for hatred, no matter what side it comes on in our country. We can't have that.
Well, we'll see what the president has to say today, 10 a.m. You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network. We're with Dave Giles. Dave's running for Congress. Arizona's 9th District, that is Maricopa County, outside of Phoenix. That was the former House District of Kristen Simina, who is now the U.S. Senator from Arizona, who beat McSally, who is now running for Senate again, who might be challenged by somebody out there I just heard that called me up the Dave was considering a challenge. Some very wealthy guy from tech, young guy, can't think of his name. Now, Dave, sorry, you might know who it is, but he's thinking about challenging McSally, but the Republicans trying to get him out of the race. So, Dave, you're in a district that the incumbent won in 18 by 22. That was a wave. You'll get Trump on the ballot. You can probably shave 10 off that. So that
I think
puts
with presidential elections have a very good chance of taking this and making this district red and more conservative, less liberal.
Well, I mean, did a Republican represent that? What it came into being in 2010 with the redistricting. Has a Republican ever represented that district?
No.
So you would be the
Kristen
first.
had it from the start.
Right. So it's been Dem from the start. You would be the first one. I think Trump on the ballot probably, and you there instead of the other guy, probably Ferrer probably cuts it by 10, but then you're still down by 12. So you got to do a lot of work.
Got to do a lot of work. Got to talk to a lot of people.
Yep.
And I need support from everybody. Thank you for allowing me to be on your show. And my website is www.davegiles4congress.com. Please have a look.
DaveGiles4Congress.com. Dave, thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me, and I look forward to seeing you again.
You got it. DaveGiles4Congress.com. John Fredericks Radio Network. That's our Disruptor segment.